Hello, this is Zbstv with the news on Zodiac. Our top stories this evening. Parliament is yet to send bills that were recently passed in Parliament, among them the controversial marriage bill. A concerned Malawian has presented a petition to the British High Commission in Malawi demanding £100 million compensation for Mother's Day killings of 1959. Civil Society Agriculture Network says Malawi likely to suffer about 50% reduction in maize production this year. And killings in dawn raid on a village in central Nigeria include women and children. We have these and more this evening. You're with me, Zbstv. Parliament is yet to send bills that were recently passed in by legislators, among them the controversial marriage bill. Acting Clerk of Parliament, Roosevelt Gondwe, says this is because Parliament is not through with all the preparatory work required to have bills that have been passed forwarded for presidential nod besides the marriage bill. Parliament also passed the long-awaited Trafficking in Persons Bill aimed at curbing human trafficking. Jacqueline Khema reports.
According to Acting Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Roosevelt Gondwe, the Marriage H Bill and 3 other bills recently passed by Parliament are yet to be sent to the Executive for presidential assent. Gondwe observed that when bills pass in Parliament, the paperwork is forwarded to the Minister of Justice for checking before Parliament Secretariat can send it to the Presidency for the President's seal. The Acting Clerk of Parliament says this far, the bills have been checked and all amendments recommended by legislators are yet to be incorporated, although the Minister of Justice is yet to vet. Parliament will send documents for assent when the vetting is done. One of the 4 bills, the marriage bill, is already attracting a lot of public comments and debate. While other quarters argue that the approved age of 18 for marriage is still unacceptable, others argue that there was no adequate time for Malawians to scrutinize and debate contents of the bill. Others argue that critical cultural sensitivities were ignored in coming up with the bill. This is Jacqueline Khema for Zodiac.
A concerned Malawian on Monday presented a petition to the British High Commission in Lilongwe in which they outlined their concerns with the pre-colonial suffering of some Malawians. Among other things, the people are demanding that the British government should consider compensating innocent Malawians who were shot dead, demanding release of leaders in 1959. Police in Dedza have shot and killed 2 people suspected of being criminals. A 3rd person has been taken in for questioning. The pictures you're about to see may not be friendly to the eye, so viewer discretion is advised. The 2 men were shot and killed as police pursued them for suspected car hijacking. A reporter, Chikondi Mpande, says Dedza police officials have confirmed the incident. The 3rd individual is in police custody. In a separate incident in Lilongwe, unknown thugs are said to have shot and killed an innocent resident at Chuzila. The crime he committed was shout out for help when the criminals hit the house of a neighbor. The body of veteran journalist, columnist and trainer Edward Chitulo will be laid to rest on Tuesday in Tepele village in the area of Traditional Authority Likoswe in Chiladu district. The body was taken away Monday afternoon after a vigil was held at his Nyambade residence and later a church service at St. Columba Sisepi Church, where church service was conducted before his remains were taken to his home village. Veteran journalist, French news agency correspondent Felix Mponda spared time to discuss Chitulo with us.
A lot of contributions. He once owned a newspaper after the referendum, which helped to in the democratization process of Malawi. He also was one of the key figures in the launch of the Media Council of Malawi and the Journalists Association of Malawi, JAMA as we know it today. It's a great loss for Malawi.
Meanwhile, Namisa Chairperson Tom Kanji, Blantyre Press Club President Blessings Kanachi, the Media Council of Malawi, President Peter Mutharika, and several civil society organizations have sent a message of condolences to the bereaved family. Chitulo was until his death the managing editor at Nation Publications Limited, publishers of the Nation newspaper. Government says the decision to free the Malawi Savings Bank is within the law and within government mandates. As such, Malawi government maintains that it will proceed to sell off the facility. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Finance, Nations Msowoya, says government is currently evaluating a bidder who has shown interest to buy the bank, whose story has sparked national debate. Here, Msowoya speaks with Jacqueline Chema.
Yeah, if you've been following up on various statements made by government, beginning with the minister in parliament and indeed the call by Public-Private Partnership Commission, which was tasked by government. The issue of the Malawi Savings Bank, I think Ministry of Finance is proceeding based on the technical know-how that it has on this area. So as we speak now, the Public-Private Partnership Commission in Blantyre will proceed into an evaluation process of the bids that have been received so far, not just on Malawi Savings Bank, but also in the bank. And as explained probably by the minister in one of the weekend papers, it was only part of good governance practice for the minister to inform Parliament in terms of the steps to be taken, not necessarily that the minister was seeking an approval or an endorsement of some kind, but it was merely for information. So as we speak now, the process of government is still to proceed with the tenders on the bank.
Now, Mr. Msowoya, talking about Parliament is now inviting views from Malawians on the sale of the bank. Do you think the views will have any impact from the government side on the issue of proceeding with the sale of the bank?
We wouldn't fault Parliament in any case. There are a legislative arm of government that at any point in time within their rules of engagement, if they think that they want to have some more views on a particular subject, there is no way we can stop them. An independent institution that if they feel that certain things have not been done in the right way, they have the right to obtain views on those. But what I must mention here is that to proceed on this decision, as Minister of Finance, we sought the opinion of the Attorney General to check whether we are in conflict with any law of the land, which fortunately we are not in contravention of any law.
You're watching Zodiac News coming your way from Outreach Center live in Lilongwe. And tonight you're with me, Sibongile Ziambo. We'll be back after this short commercial break. Welcome back, and as we continue, another look at our major stories tonight. Parliament is yet to send bills that were recently passed in Parliament, among them the controversial marriage bill. A concerned Malawian has presented a petition to the British High Commission in Lilongwe demanding £100 million compensation for Mother's Day killings of 1959. Civil Society Agriculture Network says Malawi likely to suffer about 50% reduction in maize production this year. And killings in dawn raid on a village in central Nigeria include women and children. This is Sibongile Ziambo, and you're watching News on Zodiac. The Civil Society Agriculture Network says Malawi is likely to suffer a 50% reduction in maize production this year due to the dry spells and floods experienced in some parts of the country. CISANET National Director Tamani Nkonomvula said Malawi is likely to produce 2 million metric tons less maize than that was the case in 2014, when 3.9 million metric tons of maize were realized. Tadaka Lizera reports.
Fresh from devastating floods which affected over 1 million people and thousands of crop fields, a dry is imminent in some parts of the country. These fears have been echoed by the Civil Society Agriculture Network. Sisternet National Director Tamani Nkonomvula says the dry spell and floods will significantly affect yield, with maize suffering the most. Mr. Nkonomvula projects a drop of about 40 to 50% in the maize output this year compared to last year. This means the country is likely to produce 2 million metric tons of maize, a drop from last year's 3.9 million metric tons.
Well, annual harvest will be affected quite a lot because only the floods we had the projections that there's going to be a significant reduction in terms of output. Now we are having a dry spell, which is also affecting as I pointed, the little that survived from the floods. That is going to impounding on the problem that we have. So in terms of the level of output, we should expect some reduction, maybe to around 40, even 50% reduction in terms of if you compare it to last year's output. So if let's say, for example, as a country, we are losing about 40% of what we would have expected, that is quite a lot for a country like Malawi, which mainly depends on the own production for food.
Spokesperson for the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services, Elina Kululanga, attributed the dry spell to the month of March, being a transition where the rains move from the central part of Malawi up north. She said although the rainy season is not yet over, some parts of the country, especially the southern region, will experience little amount of rain.
There are quite a number of areas which are not getting rains because we are in the month of March, and in Malawi, we expect the rainy season to start in October and end up in March. So March is taken as a transition month, whereby rains start now, moving away from the southern parts of Malawi, getting into central parts, and then finishing out in the northern parts of Malawi. So most areas in the southern region will be experiencing deficit in terms of rainfall.
In a normal situation, Malawi requires not less than 2.5 million metric tons of maize to feed its citizens, but the recent floods compound the demand for food and maize beyond the 2.5 million metric tons. For Zodiac News, this is Tadala Kalidzira.
The Nedbank says it will stop using mouse switch systems starting from March 23 this year. Nedbank head of retail and SMEs banking Stanley Mkwamba made the announcement in Blantyre recently. He said the bank has now migrated to Postilion Switch, a new system that will reject use of the old auto teller machines cards. New cards will be issued. Mkwamba explains.
Better still, what's going to happen is that our uptime is going to improve significantly. Customers have been concerned about the downtime sometimes, and that will now be a thing of the past, having migrated to the new switch. But most exciting is that we will now be able to offer the market, to offer our customers new products, new innovations that the new switch will allow us to deliver to the market. We had limitations under the existing platform, but now on we'll be able to add on a lot more new value-added, relevant, customer-centric innovations in line with the Nedbank brand.
Stanley Mkwamba, Nedbank's head of retail and SMEs banking. Now we turn to sports news. Golf Union of Malawi has stressed on the need for the Malawi national golf team to frequently participate in regional and international tournaments if the local game is to improve. Stella Dimpata said this when Airtel Malawi donated 4 million kwacha to enable the union send the Malawi golf team away to Uganda to take part in the Zone 6 golf tournament. Mike Bango with the details.
Speaking during the check presentation ceremony at Airtel's offices in Lilongwe, Golf Union member responsible for youth development Stella Dimpata said the 4 million kwacha will enable the union to fly 10 members to attend the Zone 6 Golf Championship in Kampala, Uganda. Mpata said the union will be sending the youth squad as one way of exposing the youth talent. Mpata stressed the need for the country to be part of regional and international tournaments.
Yes, it's very important because the regional golf tournament gives you a regional platform where we can compete with our colleagues in the region to know how and where we are, as a nation in the sport of golf. So without participating, obviously you cannot rate yourself how you are doing. So this platform is very, very important because it combines countries from the Indian Ocean countries, Mauritius, Seychelles, and then East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and then the whole of Southern Africa, all the way to Angola. And so it's a very important platform indeed to associate within the regional context.
In his remarks, Airtel Malawi Managing Director Heiko Shiritike said his company was motivated by the participation of young golfers and that they are confident that the Malawi golf team will bring positive results.
As I said in my address, we are very closely associated with the sport of golf because, as you also heard in the address from the Golfing Union, it is a sport for all ages, particularly for the young, particularly for the young people of Malawi. We want to help promote that sport, which can engage the young people to take it up, find a nice purpose. And for us, it is a normal procedure to be there when somebody needs help. In this case, the Golfing Union needed some support to bring the team over to Uganda, and we were there to support them and to help them.
The Zone 6 Golf Tournament is an international annual event which attracts participation of national teams of all the countries in Southern and Eastern Africa. 15 teams from across Africa are expected to take part in this year's edition. The tournament will start from April 14 to 18 in the Ugandan capital, Kampala. Last year, 13 teams participated in the tournament in Cape Town, South Africa, and the Malawi national team attained a 6th position. For ZBS in Lilongwe, this is Mike Pango.
The Netball Association of Malawi has warned professional player Mike Mwenda of stiff punishment in future should he be found guilty of misbehavior. NAM General Secretary Karo Bapu disclosed that the star netball has meanwhile been given a written warning following the player's shunning of national team collapse. Mwai excused herself from national duty last year as on the understanding that she was going to seek medical help in South Africa, only to be reported in Karabi. Bapu explains.
We summoned Maya to a hearing and we requested her to give us the medical reports because when she excused herself from attending to the national duties, she told us that she was going to the hospital in South Africa and she refused to give us the medical report. And because of that, we have just given her a written warning that next time she should not do such a thing. If there is anything, then she should come and talk to us, but not snub the national corps. We are not very sure about the truth of the matter because what she told us was that she was going to the hospital and she has refused to tender her medical reports. So that is what we know at the moment. So I cannot say what truth is there. But what I can say is that we have given her a written warning. Tuma is one of our players and she will definitely be included in the national team collapse, which maybe is going to take place sooner or later. As for the preparations, you saw the Malawi Netball Queens going to England in December. That was also part of the preparations. But we are also hoping that with fans, we will be able maybe to host 2 or 3 friendly games. But we are not very sure at the moment because we don't have enough resources. But once we secure enough resources, that's when we can say that we'll play which teams for the friendly games in lateness for the World Tournament.
Now to international sports. A South African cabinet minister, Collins Shabane, and 2 of his security staff have been killed in a car crash. Their car collided with a lorry in the northeastern city of Polokwane. Mr. Shabane, aged 54, was Minister for Public Service, a member of the governing ANC's National Executive Committee and a close associate of President Jacob Zuma. Jacqueline Shema has this BBC report for more. Women and children are among dozens of people killed in a dawn raid on a village in central Nigeria. Police say 45 people died in the attack by unidentified gunmen on Igba village in the Benue state. We have this report for more.
Local politician Audu Sule said villagers had been killed by the attackers, who were all armed with AK-47 rifles. Clashes between headsmen from the Fulani ethnic group and farmers over grazing rights have plagued the region. Mr. Sule said the attackers opened fire on the sleepy village, killing residents, including women and children. State Police spokesman Austin Eziani told AFP news agency that police are hunting the attackers, but no arrests have been made so far.
That was Winston Wale with a BBC report. You've been watching news on Zodiac, but as we go, a recap of our major stories tonight. Parliament is yet to send bills that were recently passed in Parliament, among them the controversial marriage bill. A concerned Malawian has presented a petition to the British High Commission in Lilongwe demanding £100 million compensation for Mother's Day killings of 1959. Agricultural Civil Society Network says Malawi likely to suffer about 50% reduction in maize production this year. And killings in dawn raid on a village in central Nigeria include women and children. That's what we had for you this evening. You get details of these stories on our website showing on the screen and also on our radio channel. I have been Sibongile Ziambo. Good night and thank you for watching.